So here's something a little interesting that people might not know about me, but I'm actually licensed in almost every province in the country. I haven't done Quebec because my French is not as good as my husband's and my children. But while I'm licensed in every province, because for the brokerage, I kind of need to be familiar with the documents and requirements. And every province is a little bit different with what they require, what they do, how their disclosures work, sometimes the timing of when they work, all those things. I actually don't do any mortgages in provinces other than Ontario. And there's a really good reason for that. And it's probably an unpopular opinion, but I always found that if I tried to help somebody in a location I wasn't familiar with, when things went poorly, I was not in a position to help them fix it. And we know that even the easiest mortgage, something can go sideways, that you need an appraiser, you need a lawyer that understands that area. You need to get some sort of information from the municipality, or the property taxes are weird, or something can go sideways very, very easily with the simplest of mortgage transactions. And if I was working on a mortgage in Nova Scotia, Alberta, somewhere, and I didn't have those connections, it was going to be really hard for me to solve those problems in the same way that I can in the areas that I know really well. I also found that sometimes with the out of province, there's a lot of unique credit unions across the country that can do all kinds of cool things, sometimes at much better rates than what you can find if you're just looking at, the big national lenders. And this is problematic for you as well because say you're doing a deal in Alberta and you think you're doing the best thing for the client, placing them with whatever bank monoline lender that you picked because that's, who you have access to. And then they come back to you and say, hey, I heard ATB is good. And you look them up and you're like, wow, their rates are amazing. This product would be perfect for you. They absolutely will do this deal, but you don't do enough volume with them to sign up with them as a lender. So now you have to then revert back to referring it to somebody else or something like that. So at the end of the day, I actually never did even licensed in every province, deals outside of the province. I just always felt like someone else that knows that area really well, knows all the lenders, knows all kinds of loopholes, and has connections is going to better serve that client. So what I always did was refer it to another broker, not co-broker, right? So I wasn't staying involved and I'm doing the client, they're doing the lender. Like I never wanted to overcomplicate things. I would just send it to somebody. Hey, you're in BC. My clients want to move to BC. Here you go. Be friends. Sometimes we would negotiate a referral agreement. Maybe they would pay me a percentage of what they made for the introduction. They keep the client, I keep the referral partner. Sometimes we didn't do that at all. Here, take this client. I can't help them. You can. And then that person would maybe send me their Ontario deals because they didn't want to deal with an earlier phone call, right? Like a 6 a.m., 7 a.m. phone call, right? You got to remember time zones can be a big impact in everything as well. But yeah, so overall, I never did out of province deals. I still, maybe unpopular opinion, but do not think people are serving their clients best if they are doing out of province deals. If you are, like, you really have to spend the time getting to know the area, getting to know the research, like knowing the lenders, having connections there. Are there exceptions? Sure, right? If you lived in Ontario your whole life and then you moved to BC, maybe you do have everything you need in Ontario to serve clients in both Ontario and BC, right? That would be a logical exception for me. But overall, the general mortgage population, I probably shouldn't be doing out of province deals. I also think with increased fraud and I always worry, like, where did this client come from? Like, in what world would somebody in Nova Scotia decide that they really want to work with this broker in Alberta or Saskatchewan? Like, what is the increased risk on that file and the likelihood of fraud? Well, if you don't know the source very well, they just found you online. It probably is the case that they are targeting you to have somebody that's going to submit their file who's not going to ask a lot of questions. The pushback we get at the brokerage is, well, like, I want to do these files and I want to make money. And I understand that, right? That your aunt referred you their friend and they live in New Brunswick and you live in BC or whatever. I get that we all want to make money, but I always go back to we can spend one thing or the other, right? Money or time. If you refer a deal that you're not best suited to do to somebody who is best suited to do that, do you have more time to find more deals that you are best suited to help? So I think at the end of the day, if you're not taking on these files with extra risk, you're referring them to somebody who can do them better than you and say they'll pay you a referral fee, then you're helping the client be in the best situation possible. And then you are freeing up your time, making a bit of money for that referral, but freeing up your time to be able to better serve clients who actually need you. For me, out of province is a no. I never really understood why people wanted to take on the extra risk and the extra headaches because truly, every deal sounds easy until it's not. And when you don't have the contacts to fix it, it's beyond stressful. I've seen it over and over again. In addition to not really understanding those provinces' regulations. With me having my license in different provinces, it's like some provinces, they have like a special paper that you have to sign, like a disclosure paper or a choices paper, and then you have to wait 24 hours before you sign the commitment, and you have to do all these things. Well, like you don't know how that works if you're not in that province, but yet you're giving the client and maybe a realtor advice on a COF without any knowledge of how the actual mortgage transaction works in that province. Not great. If you want to do all your research and be an expert in every province, go ahead. Otherwise, I think you're best suited to find a friend in another province who's not licensed in yours and just trade deals back and forth and both, better serve the client and protect your time.